I am live. Thursday night live stream with the Junkdobber. So y'all come on in and talk to me. I got my feelings hurt today. I guess I did. I feel bad about it. I'll talk about it in a minute. Oh man. But I drink a lot of fluid. That's one thing is when I was reading a thing about changes in the person's physical stuff and everything when they hit 80. And part of that thing that said change is it's easy to get dehydrated. They quit drinking a lot of fluids. Well, that's just been the opposite for me. I drink a lot. You see these things here? I drink maybe 4 bottles of this stuff, and this is that uh, this is that it's called an energy drink. It's not got sugar in it, but there's 10 of these come in a box, and I'm when I mix them up, you're supposed to get 1 bottle of water this side here to 1 pack of that, but I don't do that. I'll do it half strength. So 10 of these right here actually gets me 20 bottles of drink. And I Megan Kelly. Oh. There for a minute I thought I had Megan Kelly in here. Not so. But I drink 4 or 5 of these a day. I don't know if that's bad for me or not. And if I'm out of the mix, I just drink plain water. So I don't know what's in these. I never really paid any attention. Total fat, 0. Saturated fat, 0. Cholesterol, 0. Sodium, 0. Total carbohydrates, 1%. Dietary fiber, 0%. Total sugars, 0. So I don't know what's in these ingredients. Citric acid, maltox, something or other, aspartame, caffeine, magnesium oxide contains less than 2% of something potassium. But I drink a lot. I drink a lot of fluids. But it said in that report that once you get to 80 and past that, you tend to not drink enough to stay hydrated. You get dehydrated. But thank you for whoever's giving me the thumbs up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But I definitely don't get dehydrated. And I I pee. Of course I do. I pee a lot. I will. Let me show you what. Everybody knows what this is. It's a urinal. I have 5 of these. And when I go to bed at night, before I go to bed at night, I fill up one of them. And during the night, I'll wake up once, I'll fill it up again, and then first thing when I wake up in the morning, I'll fill it up again. So I have a lot of fluid. I don't know if that's bad or if it's good, but I definitely not dehydrated. But it said a lot of things in that report about what things it changes in your body and everything. And most of that has happened to me. I've had those changes. Uh, it says you tend to slur your speech more. And I do. I do. Like I sort of say, tends to slur your speech. And when I first started saying it, I was saying splur, not slur. I was saying splur. So that explains to me a lot about how I had trouble misunderstanding. Y'all come on in to the house here, talk to me. Uh, I think I've lost a couple of subscribers because I started talking politics. That's exactly why I always said I didn't want to discuss politics or religion on my channel. I really hate it. And they were Democrats. Every time I lose a friend or something because of politics, they're Democrats. And I don't care. What is that on my shoulder? Is that dander short and all? I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican, Independent, or nothing. That's your right. But used to, you could talk about discuss that stuff because all through the family we had Democrats and Republicans. And some people talking about, well, if Trump wins, it's going to be a civil war. Well, people, you throw that Civil War stuff around loosely. You don't know, you don't stop think about what that means. If there ever came another Civil War, it would be family members against family members. Because my family is Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, and some of them are nothing. So if there came a civil war, that means you're out killing people. Think about it. That gets thrown around just too loosely. I don't I don't think there would ever be another. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But if it did, that would be the downfall of the good old United States of America. And I don't think you could be neutral in a civil war. I don't know. But anyway, I'm definitely not dehydrated. Um, Run into some kids today out on my scooter. Very disrespectful, calling me names. One even said I was creepy. Um, and there was about 6 or 7 of them, and there was a mix of blacks and whites. Might have been a Hispanic in there. I would never disrespect an old person, a senior. I never did. But they were sure throwing a lot of words at me. It wasn't cussing, just no respect. Is somebody gonna come in here and talk to me? Or am I gonna be sitting here talking to myself? And I do enough of that talking to myself during the day. I get so lonely here, and right now, Jaden's in his room, Jennifer's in her room, Donovan's in his room, and I'm in my room. I talked to my daughter this morning, and Donovan changed the bandage on my foot this morning. Jaden's come walking through the house once or twice. No discussion with him whatsoever. Talked to Donovan a little bit, talked to Jennifer. But but other than that, then of course around 11 o'clock they're all in the bed. So here I sit. The only company I got is you guys. And it seems like y'all, hey Sandra Baker. Sandra, I want to talk about politics, but gosh almighty, I hate it when people leave me because of that. And to me, nobody particularly likes politics, but it's just a fact of life in this country. And every 4 years, we have to elect a president. And if who I voted for wins, that's great. But if who I didn't vote for wins, it's not great for me. But here's the thing. I remember when Donald Trump first got elected, there's a lot of people going around, if he wins, I'm leaving the country. And they didn't. And like Madonna got up there and said, I'm thinking a lot about blowing up the White House. She should have been jailed for that. I'm thinking a lot about blowing up the White House. Maybe when Biden got elected, maybe I said, I'm thinking about going up and blowing up the White House. And I bet you if I got out publicly and said that, there would be some repercussions to me. But it's the fact of life that celebrities and stuff, they get away with saying a lot of crap. Not only Democrats, but Republicans too. But I'm very concerned about presidential elections. And personally, my own personal opinion, I think that a president should be able to have 3 terms. Like Roosevelt, what he was going on his 4th term, and then they changed it to 2 terms. And of course, it's a law. It's a law. What is that? I don't know. You have to be a natural born American citizen to, to run for president. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was governor of California, but he's from Austria. He's not a he's a citizen now, but not a natural born citizen. He can't run for president. And I think that's only right. But there's so much corruption and when you got something, say an incident happens, like in a car accident, you got 2 cars involved. And when they start telling what happened, they're going to tell it to make it sound better for them what happened than what actually happened. Both sides will do that. And it's the same thing with politics. Republicans are going to tell it the way they want it heard. Democrats are going to tell it the way they want it to be heard. So that's actually true. We always try to embellish it to where we're making we look more in a favorable light than the other side. We all do it. It's only natural. Of course, there's always some exceptions. Somebody say, "Well, yeah, I did it," or "Yeah, I said that." Just like one time when I was driving, I made a mistake, and it was a company truck that hit me in the side, but he hit me in the side because I switched lanes without giving a signal or without looking in my rearview mirror. And I knew he was already standing there calling his company on the phone. And it might have caused him some problems. Well, I knew it was my fault. And I told the man, I said, don't bother with calling them people just because it didn't hurt his truck. It hurt the car a little bit. I said, it was my fault. Just go on. Forget about it. And he thanked me and he went on. Wasn't no need to get the police involved in it. It was my fault. And a lot of people ain't going to own up to that. I've been in a couple of incidents like that where I owned up to it being my fault before anything got involved. And one time I was driving on the highway, and a school bus had come up to an off the side road, and he was going to turn coming towards me in the other lane. But I was passing, and it was a good passing zone. And he didn't. He looked to see if anything was coming from the other direction before he turned into the traffic. But he didn't notice. He didn't look to see if any cars was coming in that passing zone. And by the time he got in there, I squeezed in between that bus and that car. And this was in North Carolina. So he was at fault. And somebody called the police. Of course, I got shot. I got sideswiped by that school bus. And in North Carolina, 16-year-old boys and girls could drive school buses. And when the police got there, they immediately pulled his driver's license. They had to bring somebody else out to drive that school bus, but he lost his driver's license because of that. And I felt so bad about that. Hey, Cupcake Girl, at least you ain't left me. Oh my goodness. Uh, but really felt bad about that. I was in a '64 Dodge Dart, 4-door. My daughter was like 2 years old. And then my wife when that happened. We was on our way from Hickory, North Carolina to Charlotte, North Carolina. I was, I forget now. We were going to see my wife's baby sister. What time? I need to get shaved again. I'm not going to grow another beard. But yeah, I'm just going to be reluctant about the politics. It ain't worth losing friends over. And I feel the same way about religions. I don't really get mixed up with politics till it's the presidential election. Because once an election's over, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to take whatever comes. And the only time you can vote for change is when the presidential election comes. Now, of course, the same thing about midterms for certain congressmen and senators and stuff. And boy, you know what I resent? I resent uh, people becoming filthy rich. Oh, okay, Cupcake. Uh, I, you know, something that bothers me about religion, and I don't, and I'm gonna talk about Jehovah's Witness and other Christians. I have to say that a Jehovah's Witness, they get out there and beat on your doors and talk to you on the street corners and stuff. I don't like a Jehovah's Witness religion. but I'm not disrespectful to them. But when one comes to my door, I almost immediately tell them, I don't agree with you guys, but I respect you, and I don't want your literature, but I want you to go out there and have a good day. Now, my daughter, not my daughter Jennifer, but my daughter, my German daughter, she lives in Memphis, Tennessee. She's a stout Jehovah's Witness. And I don't know how in the world she become a Jehovah's Witness, because she was Catholic. She was raised as a Catholic. I don't know how she got that Catholic. Of course, I've been a Republican all my life. I don't know how my daughter turned out to be a Democrat. Me and my daughter, we don't. I can discuss it calmly, but she can't. So we don't discuss religion or uh, uh, politics. Having a senior moment there. I'll tell you, but I wish I don't mind having discussions in politics, but not at the cost of me losing friends. I shouldn't have to lose a friend over politics. But back to what I was saying about Jehovah's Witnesses, they get out there and they testify and all that stuff. But most Christians I know a few that will, but most of them, when you see them all through the week, it's never nothing said about a religion. They don't discuss it. They don't testify. Now, in my aunt and uncles, especially my uncle that was a Methodist minister, there was always, they had a little thing that looked like a loaf of bread that had a bunch of cards in it. And every morning at breakfast, they pulled out a card and it had a scripture or something for the day. And that always happened every day. And you always went to church on Sunday. Um, so what I'm saying, the Jehovah's Witness, they practice what they preach. A lot of just Baptists and Methodists and Presbyterians, they don't practice, a lot of them don't practice what they preach. And that may be you, it may not be, I don't know. But just seems like they make an effort. Now, I got a cousin, the first cousin, Barbara. Man, if I see her coming down the street, I almost want to go to the other side, because you're fixing to get a sermon from her, and she'll lay hands on you and she'll pray and all that stuff. And my my grandma Pearson was like that. And who was the other one I'm thinking about? Aunt Mamie. I love that woman so much. She wanted to adopt me after my mom and daddy separated and divorced, and my mama wouldn't allow it. But there wasn't a time that I can remember that I didn't see her for the first time that day or a while later or something. The first thing she'd say, "Oh, hey, Mackie." And she said, "Son, are you all right with the Lord?" Always. ask me that. Always. She was over 100 years old when she died. That was the sweetest woman. I loved her so much. And that was Frankie and Lewis's mama. And when I stayed with them overnight or something, uh, I couldn't just go to bed and go on to sleep. She would come in there and tuck me in when I was like 14 or 15. And I had asthma back then, and she made sure my pillow was just right and everything. And that lady, she used to make the most best bowl of butter beans. Not lima beans, but butter beans. You don't see butter beans much anymore. But she made them, and she had dumplings in them. And her dumplings, they weren't big puffy things. They was like flat pieces. Gosh, and and she worked at the cotton mill, and she always made lunch before she left, and she set it on this table, and she covered up with another tablecloth. So that when we come in from lunch, usually we've been out working in the field. You come in for lunch, you peel that table up, but there's just that bowl of butter beans with dumplings in them. I swear I wish I knew how to do that. I wish I knew where to get butter beans. My goodness. She is, and she's such a wonderful person. Her husband, my daddy's brother, he won't so great. He won't so great. He had to go to Dix Hill a couple of times. Dix Hill was a mental hospital, state hospital, and uh, he had somewhat of an affair with my mother, and that was his brother's wife. And a child come out of that deal, and men, we all knew it. It was George. George is just my half brother. But daggone it, cat, what are you doing? Come here, baby. Come here. But he won't like a half brother, but he was my half brother. And one time I asked Aunt Mamie about that, and that was a rumor going around, and she didn't want to talk about it. But I tell you what, because of that, Aunt Mamie was walking over to Grandma's house, and my mama was standing there in the door, and Aunt Mamie just found a letter between her and Uncle Jack, between my mama and Uncle Jack. And she walked in there, and she was a good Christian lady. And she reared back and cold caught my mama, knocked her out the door, down the steps. And Grandma said, "Why did you do that?" And Aunt Mamie showed her the letter. That's why. Hooray for Aunt Mamie. I wish I could have been there to see that. But I got that firsthand. George was there. No, not George. Who the heck was there? I done forgot. But they told me about it, and Aunt Mamie told that same story at the family reunion one time. And when she told that story, it got he committed suicide. You know, most people, when they take a gun to kill themselves, they shoot themselves in the head. But not my daddy. He didn't want to look bad laying in his coffin. He wanted to look good. So he shot himself in the heart. And that's the only reason we can figure out why he shot himself in the heart. He didn't want to look bad laying in the coffin. That was in 1978. I sure wished I'd known he was thinking about that. I sure do. But he'd been an alcoholic all his life, and he'd been dry for about 6 months, maybe a year. Hadn't had a drink. And so that Saturday, he went to town, bought him a pint of Steelbrook corn liquor, went home, drank about a half a bottle of that, laid down on that bed and shot himself in the heart. He was just tired of fighting that liquor. And I guess he decided then he just would never be able to stay dry. Uh, I loved that man so much. I didn't love the alcoholic part of him. But that's life, I guess. I think for supper, I'm going to have me a stuffed green pepper. My daughter brought some home the other night. It's in the frozen thing. Put it in the microwave and cook it for about 7 minutes. Love them things. Folks, I'm feeling okay, but I'm having to do my exercise, a certain exercise my physical therapist wants me to do once every hour when I'm up. And it's not hard, but she said if you're ever going to be able to walk again, you're going to have to do that exercise and keep doing it. So that's what I'm going to do. Um, Gosh, I've been yapping for 38 minutes. But anyhow, folks, I appreciate all of y'all. And if, for God's sake, don't leave me but just because of politics. I hate that so bad, but I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum unless something major happens. But I'll tell you one thing. I think Joe Biden is being suffering from elder abuse. I think them keeping pushing him and making him go, and he's doing so many things it makes him look so ridiculous and everything, and it's just sad. I feel sorry. I kind of feel for him because I'm older than him, but I know how it is when you lose your track, the way you're thinking or something, and I think it's just a damn shame that they don't just let him step aside and let Kamala Harris take over to the end of the year. Though I don't like Kamala Harris, but it's just a shame the way he's being treated. And I don't like Joe Biden, but I sure can't empathize with him and his situation. And that shuffling that comes with being old. Now you'll see some people with age on them that walks just normal. but that's the exception. But I think he ought to just step aside, let somebody else run. But I don't. I think his family's pushing for it not to happen. The people around him pushing for it, and God only knows who's running the country right now. I don't think it's Joe. And I don't know who. I even heard somebody drop a line about Michelle Obama might be replacing Joe Biden. Michelle? Huh, I don't know. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. Y'all go out and have a good day, and God bless. And daggone it, if you disagree with me on politics, ain't no reason to disown me. The same way I ain't gonna disown you the way you think. It's your right. It's your privilege. I'll see you in the next one. See ya. Now what do I punch here? I have to think about how I shut this off every time. My mind's 83 years old. But I'm still kicking, and the ladies are still pretty, right? Yeah, heck yeah. Oh my goodness. Here goes. See ya. I burped.